Good evening. Day 50, July 1st, 2017. Day's weight is 45.2. Weight loss today is 10 pounds. So I had yesterday to process what's going on, and I was really happy about the situation with the job, and I still am. Need to do a lot of things in preparation. The first thing I had to do is get my references all put together. I faxed a lot of email documentation. Since I have to do a drug test, I have to plan out what I'll be doing, and I have to follow up with an advisor regarding what the plan is. The plan right now, there are several options. Do I want to leave Chicago? No. Do I have to? Of course, because I have to have work. I have to be able to pay to live, pay to do things, pay my medical bills, all the things that have been piling up for the last 2 years. When this first happened in 2015, I was completely terrified in the sense that, because I don't get sick, I don't know what's going on here. This is weird. And when it started, and a few times in my life, it's happened where the scenario that's happened to me several times, I think about 4 times, and I'm completely terrified, is if I sit up from the bed or get out of the car or do something very ordinary, sit up, get out of bed, get out of the car, and twist my back, throw my back out. Completely throw my back out, and I am dead to the world. Can't move, can't sit up, can't do a thing, can't walk. It is completely horrifying when that happens. That was to the extent of the things that happened to me. And after a while, it went away. That was bad. What was worse of late was when I was nauseated. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't eat. I couldn't move. I had to be sitting still and just look straight forward. If I turned my head, it completely went nuts. And I was hungry, and I ate food, and I threw it all up. I literally got sick from eating food because I don't know why. I was chewing, and maybe my head was moving a certain way, and it just went all bad. That was number 2, or number 2. So 3 was all those times that I had those problems. Number 4 on the list, I'm going in reverse order, I apologize. 3 is back, and 2 is that. 4 being the issue I have now because of today. My knees hurt. They're tight, very tight legs, the muscles of T-bands. Those hurt as hell. Right now they're hurting badly. And number 1 being the Myasthenia Gravis, where you literally, like I said, put food in the mouth, can't talk, can't do anything, can't move. And you don't feel bad in the sense that you're going to die, but you practically are dead in the sense you can't do a damn thing. So that's, to me, this is number 1 in the list of all the bad things. Myasthenia was the best, was the worst. The extreme vertigo was second. The back issue and the leg issue. The nerve issue is number 5. It's an annoyance, and I still have some of those problems here and there, but be that as it may. And the latest-ish things happened because I moved all the boxes and stuff out of here into my office because we're having meetings here for the CBD oil, and any type of picking up, moving, reorganizing, cleaning, it just exhausts me, and it's terrible, and it terrifies me when I have that problem, and it hurts. So I'm going to do that. So I did that. But going back now to St. Louis, what am I going to do? Well, the first thing is I can no longer play with the Springfield Valley Band for now. I cannot play with Harper. I cannot play with any group that requires me to go to practices. If it's a group that wants me to sit in, like the Chicago Philharmonic, where you basically show up, rehearse, and play, then I can do that. I can do that. Give me the music. I can practice ahead of time, and then I go in there. But if I have to go every week to something in the evening, I can't, because I'll be in St. Louis. They want me there, and they made a point of it. You know, the job is here. You work 8 to 5. You're in the office, and I go, yes, yes, yes. Because again, they know I'm from Chicago, and they need somebody to do the work. I can do the work. I've done this before. I have worked on the road before. I've done this, but it's different this time because of my illness, and I need to take good care of myself and do what I needed to do regarding that. I also need to get down there, so there's certain things I can do, and I don't know. I have to map out the pros and cons of each scenario. Of course, the scenario I think makes sense. There is get in the car, drive down there, and go to work, and then get a hotel or an apartment and work down there, and have this place here, come back on weekends. So that's one scenario. And the other scenario is to completely leave this place, move down there, and work down there and live there. But my heart belongs here in Chicago, of course. So that's another possibility. Again, to have 2 residences, that's something I want to figure out if it's viable. My lease is up here in September, and if I just continue to September and then leave it and then go, so be it. And then if I want to come back here, which I do, I come back and find something else. Who knows? That's the scenario there. The other scenario is using this as a place for my business and for meeting and just to relax and, write it off. I just, my office is here, get some other work and use this as an office so it pays for itself. I want the rent. I want every money that I would be getting here to come from a different source of the CBD oil business. So that income comes from there, so I can maintain the 2 places. But I don't know yet. That's what I'm thinking. And again, if I don't need to stay here, I don't need to. But I want to stay here because my heart's here, like I said. But again, I can't inject my heart into the situation because I need to handle the bigger issue. Number 1, I need to pay off my car, get a new car. Number 2, I got to pay off all my bills and all my debt from being sick and medical bills and all my credit card bills, everything. I got to take care of all that. That's number 1. And I got to be smarter with the money that's coming in. And, I'm already doing it because I'm not eating out a lot like I used to. And I can't do when I go down there. Because I used to eat out every day. And now I can't do that anymore. I know I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. So when I'm down there, I'm going to work. I'm going to get the job done. And then I will, go to the store and make my own food and whatever, And that's the other thing. Where am I going to stay? If I stay in a hotel, what are the costs there? What's the cost to do that? If I find an apartment, that goes into the whole Venn diagram and flow charting the whole thing. Get an apartment. If it's not furnished, you have to furnish it. You have your own bed here. Why do you need to buy another bed if you don't? Why do you need 2 beds? Why do you need 2 places? See the whole thing. If it's a furnished apartment and it's a good price, then I figure those acts out. And then, of course, the same thing. Pay off the car, sell the car. Do I need a car when I'm down there? Can I just use the train to go around? Do I need a car? If I'm downtown and I have a furnished apartment, I can put all the stuff here in storage or leave it here and then come on here on weekends as I can travel through the train and do whatever. Again, there are so many different scenarios that can happen. And I have 9 days to figure this out because I have to be there on the 10th and start working. And that's the other thing. All these logistical things of what has to be done and all the personal life has to be put on the back burner in the sense of priority, because the number one priority is going to work, showing up and doing the job they're paying me for. They're paying me very well for the job I'm going to be doing. And that's the thing. So my top priority is working, earning the money to pay everything off. That's number one. So my mind, 100% of my mind has to be focused on work, getting the job done, doing everything, planning it out, working with the people to get the job done. So that's number one, the most important thing. Is if anything else personal gets in the way of where am I going to be living? What am I going to be doing? How am I going to pay for gas? Where am I going to go? You know, all that. If any of the personal worry of just being there and living that situation affects, it collapses. If I get sick, it collapses. So there are a lot of things that could go wrong, but I know that if I remain focused, it won't go wrong. So I'm going to do that. So that's the key here. The key here now is to just map it all out and to, figure out what needs to be done. That's why I want to talk to the advisor about, okay, if I continue to keep this place, for a few months, do I use it for business and can I write that off? And if I do a sublease? Can I do a sublease? Can help, well, not to have somebody here, but to use this as a workspace for business, which I thought was the best thing to do, make it a business location and keep it. But then again, I was talking about it with somebody today, and I'm talking to you now about it in a way. Where I am here right now, this is not permanent. I know it's not permanent. I'm not supposed to be here because I want a home. I want a home where I know that this is my house and I live here. That's basically what I want. That's the bottom line, what I want in life. I'm not doing that now. Number one, I don't have a job, but now I have a job. And it's in St. Louis, but I don't want to live in St. Louis. I'm working there. I'm a consultant. So I do want to talk to the advisor because somebody had brought it up today, and it was just interesting because today I went to an expo about someone said, "What do you need? Where do you live now? Do you own the apartment you're in?" They said, or the condo. This is a condo. Do you own the condo? And I said, "No, I don't own the condo. I'm renting." "Oh, okay. So you can leave." Well, that's the thing. If you're renting, you can leave, which is true. I can leave. I can leave this place. It's not mine. It's a nice place to have, and basically you ask somebody who put the investment up to get a place, can you live here, and you're paying the rent. You're paying their mortgage, So what I want to do is talk to the advisor about the following. Might as well, because again, I always say to myself, you're going to be 50 next year. What have you accomplished? And what are you going to do for the next 50 years? I plan to live for a long time. I'm not going to go away. So I think it's now time, and I'm glad I met the guy, and it's time to make the plan, the broad plan, to get a house in Arizona. To get the house in Arizona, and the way I want to do it that makes sense to me is to get a house that has an in-laws suite. It's very big. I know about them, and it's essentially it's a house that has an apartment attached to it. And interestingly enough, my grandmother's house had that arrangement. They had a house. Well, their house actually had a house in the back, like an apartment, like a studio apartment, and someone lived there for a very, very long time. And I never saw the person, but they had somebody living with them, and they paid them to live there, which is very interesting. Think about it. And this is a 1930s house that had this arrangement where you had somebody living in a room in the back, and that was their house. So what I want to do is get a nice house and then put in a nice in-laws place, studio or something of that nature, nice, really nice, attached to it, so it would be like 2 residences. And then that residence, that would be my oasis, my where I would go and live. And I would rent the entire house out on Airbnb or whatever. And that, set that up so that I can rent that out, either through Airbnb or agency, whatever, so that when I want to go home, I go there. If I'm here in Chicago and I want to take a vacation, I go there. I have to have something for the future, and having a home there is what I want. So I think that that's the best plan. Number 1, talk to the advisor and say, I want a house in Arizona. I want to do this. How do I get there? What do I need to start doing? Pay off my bills, of course, and all that stuff. I know that, but I want to get there fast. That's number 1. Number 2, of course, is pay all the bills. So those 2 answer each other. Pay off all the bills, pay off all the medical bills, and then get my house in order for the long term, when I retire, whatever. For me, retirement isn't stopping working. Retirement means that I don't have to worry about the money coming in or worry about the money for anything. Any equity or anything I have is just rolling in, coming in, money's coming in, and I'm fine. And I can do what I want. If I have to, but I'll continue working. I don't need to stop working. But if I decide to travel, I go travel, whatever. So that's basically it. The other thing is, I want to play in groups, expand that, do art, photography, do fun stuff. So that's the thing. But I want to continue working, so I'm going to do that. But I want to have that plan. And I know now I don't need a fancy card or very more important things. Because, again, I'm saying it the wrong way. I have a Mercedes, so I'm going to say it the wrong way. I don't need a fancy car and everything else. I just need a car, a good one. But I know why I've done these things. Well, I don't have a lot of stuff. I don't have the car is my extravagance. I don't have gold watches or anything like that. I have iPad and iPhone. That's about it. And the TV I have here, I brought it in here for a presentation. It's a 42-inch 42-inch television that I bought probably 6-7 years ago. And it's just 780 or 1080. It's a simple television. Paid like less than $1,000 for probably $800 or $700 for it. I don't need a bigger TV. If it breaks down, then I'll buy another TV. But I don't have, I need the latest television. I need this, I need that. No, I'm not that way right now. I'm not that way right now, really. So that's what I'm going to do. But again, it's always the little things. Make your own coffee, eat your own food. Because I'm at that point now, like, what the hell have I done? Let's fix it. Of course, I was looking back at my finances. I have a very detailed book of finances. But again, 2015, the May of 2015 is when everything started to turn south because of illness. And June of 2016 is when it went to hell. Literally went to hell. And it was progressively going down. And I knew this. I think it was probably around October of 2015 when I first realized I had to move from the place I was living. I was frightened. And I had to get out. And I had that fear. And it built up until the end of May, or actually in the end of April of 2016. And I was still had my issue, and I was still in the hospital. Doctors still didn't know what was wrong. Because at that time, my concern was about my health, but not the myasthenia. It hadn't shown the first signs of this yet, wasn't diagnosed as that. But I knew I had to move, so I did move. I moved into the shittiest place ever. And it was the worst decision I made, but I had to make it because of everything that was going on medically. It was just going nuts. I was going nuts. And then to top it off, once I'm there, then I get really sick in the hospital and I'm practically dying. And that destroyed me completely. So all of 2016 was hell, you know. And then 2017 started, or actually October 2016 I came here, and things were looking up again, but they were still hard. But it's basically I was drowning, but I wasn't dying. That's the best way to describe it. October through February of 2017, I was drowning, but I wasn't dying. And then when I got laid off, I was dead. I only had, like I said, I only had 3 months, and that was just keep the lights on, keep me fed, keep gas in the car. That's it. Couldn't buy any clothes, couldn't buy anything special. If something broke down, I would be dead, basically. And nothing did happen in the last 4 months, nothing major. But it's still, right now, we're coming up, this is July 1st. And I still don't have the money for the rent. So I have to tell him, hey, I told him I didn't have a job. And I said, now I have a job, I started the 10th, I'll pay you when I get paid. I have to tell him that, because again, I have to tell people this. You know, I don't have the money. But I'm working now. But I don't work to the 10th, and I won't get paid until the 21st. So I'll pay the fee, but you have to understand. That's the situation. So we'll do it. But that's where I'm rambling on now. But that's the point. The point is that July 1st, it's to plan everything out, find the scenario, find what I need to do, and get it done. So I'm going to do that. And then, of course, on top of that, besides paying bills, getting well, losing weight, working, and paying your bills off, and getting better, all these little things. And then where we're going to live, what we're going to do, how I'm going to pay for food, blah, blah, blah. That's all that stuff. It's crazy. Anyway, but we have a crazy life, and we love it. So good night. I love you. Goodbye.